Baik, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Morning.
Okay, well, before I would like to thank Sir Fausan for this opportunity. Hello, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Adam Nepon. Here I am the moderator from Grup 6, and my friend Wahyuli Aulia, Andi Umniatia, Niftahul Jannah Asir, Mesya Rumah Parinding, Muhammad Sainal Arifin, Nurul Makfira Asis, and Rizka Dwi Putri Asad. So we are from Group 6. We will present our material about politeness and interaction. And the first speaker is Wahyuli Aulia. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for moderator. For the first is there is a definition. Okay, and you can see the slide. There is politeness theory has explained scholar perception of politeness. Politeness is an expression of the speaker's intention to reduce the threat of struck by certain restraining action towards others. And the second one, there is another definition is unsaid social skills, and whose purpose is ensure that everyone feels valued in social interaction. Therefore, praise the polite consist and trying to face other. Showing courtesy to others or refined culture, however, in linguistic, the concept of politeness is much more complex. The website outlines some of the theories who have a major contribute in the development of politeness. The theory is the role in scores different from professors by indifferent politeness into the spirit definition and by patient difference and politeness to culture. And the next there's everyone has a self public image and related to emotional and social sense and experts other knowledge politeness refers to general understanding to them normally contrast human interaction and the purpose of which in consider to be upright behavior in certain and situation and if for achieve and maintain social relationship with others. I think that's all for me. I will give back to moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Wahyuli Aulia, for your explanation. And the second speaker is Andi Umniatia. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity that has been given to me. So next slide, please. So on this occasion, I will explain about Lynch 1983 maxim of politeness. The first one is text maxim. The text maxim states, minimize the expression of beliefs which imply cost to other, maximize the expression of beliefs which imply benefit to other. This maxim is applied in speech A, commissive and directives called by Lynch as impositives. Commissive is found in utterance that express speaker's intention in the future action. Then directives, impositives are expression that influence the hearer to do action. By the touch maxim, it means that we try to be touchful in a communication by observing two sub-maxim. The first one is we try to minimize cost to others, and the second one is we try to minimize benefit to others. So the example of the touch maxim is as follows. The first example is when you drink a cup of coffee in this directive. It is the directive or impositive utterance. This utterance is spoken to ask the hearer drinking coffee. The speaker used indirect utterance to be more polite and minimizing cost to the hearer. This utterance implies that drinking coffee is benefit for the hearer. Another example is Helen, I'm afraid the invitation must have been lost in the post. Alice, nonsense. Lady Ascot once said we will always be welcome. This conversation occurred between Alice and her mother, Helen. Helen then informed her that there will be a succession that night. However, Helen thought she has lost the invitation in the post. Then Alice applied the touch maxim in her utterance. She maximized the benefit to Helen by saying, Lady Ascot once said, "We will always be welcome." This sentence implied that the speaker want to please the hearer. Alice maximized the benefit to Helen because she convinced that they will always be welcome to Lady Ascot residents, whether they have the invitation or not. Next slide, please. The second is generosity maxim. As you can see on the slide, the generosity maxim state to minimizing benefit to self and maximizing cost to self. Like tax maxim, the generosity maxim occurs in commissive and directives or in positives. Unlike the tax maxim, the maxim of generosity focus on the speakers and say that others should be put first instead of the self. This maxim is centered to self, while the touch maxim is to other. By the generosity maxim, it means that we all try to be generous in a communication. In that, the first one is we try to minimize benefit to self, and the second one is we try to maximize cost to self. For the example of the generosity maxim is, the first one example is, you relax and let me do the dishes. You must come and have dinner with us. It is an advice utterance that is involved in directive elocutionary act. In this case, the speaker implies that cause of the utterance is to his health. Meanwhile, the utterance implies that benefit is for the hearer. Another example, Lawrence, excuse me, Walker, you need a hand in their body. The utterance is spoken when Lawrence is walking in the crowded street and bumps one of the walkers there. However, the walker is offering a help for him. The walker's utterance maximizes cost to self. In this case, the speaker or walker implies that cost of the utterance is to himself because uh, the walker should help Lawrence. It means benefit is for the hearer or Lawrence. So the utterance is observing maxim of generosity in politeness principle. The utterance, you need a hand in their body, has the elocation that the speaker is offering a help for Lawrence. I think that's all for me. I will give back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Andumya Tia. And the next speaker is Nita Huljana Asir. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator, for the opportunity that given to me. And for the next is next slide. Yeah. And for the next belum. Yang ketiga tadi. Yeah. And for the next is approbation maxim. So approbation maxim requires to make minimizing this praise of other and maximizing praise of other. This maxim interacts to avoid saying unpleasant things about others and especially about the hearer. Jadi approbation maxim ini adalah cara meminimalkan celaan terhadap orang lain dan memaksimalkan pujian terhadap orang lain. Contoh, for example, yaitu such as the performers was great. B said, yes, wasn't it? Si A ini sebenarnya tidak menyukai penampilan dari orang yang tampil, tetapi dia tidak mengatakan secara langsung bahwa dia tidak menyukai performa tersebut, tetapi dia memujinya dan itu didukung oleh pernyataan si B. Next slide. And for the next is modesty maxim. Modesty maxim. In the modesty maxim, the participants must minimize praise of self and maximize dispraise of self. But the approbation maxim and the modesty maxim concern to the degree of good or bad evaluation of other or self that is uttered by the speaker. For example, please accept this small gift as price of your achievement. Di sini, in this case, the utterance above is categorized as the modesty maxim because the speaker maximize this pairs of himself. The speaker noticed his utterance by using small gift. I think that's all for me. I'll beg for moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Nita Huljana Asir. And the next speaker is me by Adam Naipon. Next slide, please. Okay, so the fifth is agreement maxim. In the agreement maxim, there is tendency to maxim agreement between self and other people and minimize disagreement between self and other. The disagreement in this maxim usually is expressed by regret or partial agreement. It is in line with Brown and Levinson's positive polite strategy of seek agreement and avoid disagreement, to which they attach great importance. For example, Aldi, English is a difficult language to learn. And Baby said, true, but the grammar is quite easy. Dari contoh tersebut, Baby sebenarnya tidak setuju bahwa semua bagian dari bahasa Inggris sulit untuk dipelajari. Dia tidak mengungkapkan ketidaksetujuannya dengan kuat. Untuk menjadi lebih sopan, jawaban yang santun akan mempengaruhi efek pendengar. Dalam hal ini, jawaban Baby meminimalkan ketidaksetujuannya dengan menggunakan persetujuan parsial. True, but, okay, next slide. Okay, the sixth is sympathy maxim. The sympathy maxim explained to minimize empathy between self and other, and maxim sympathy between self and other. In this case, the achievement being reached by other must be congratulated. On other hand, the calamity happens to other must be given sympathy or condolences. This maxim is applicable in assertive and representative. For example, I was very sorry to hear about your father death. Ini adalah ekspresi belasungkawa yang mengungkapkan simpati atas kemalangan. Tuturan ini diucapkan ketika pendengar mendapat kabar musibah. For example, dari kalimat di atas, dia mendengar ayah dari kerabatnya meninggal. Ungkapan ini menunjukkan solidaritas antara pembicara dan pendengar. I think that's enough for me, and the next speaker is Misha Rumah Berending. Time is yours.
Well, thank you, moderator, for the chance given to me. And for the next material, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. And for the next material about Brown and Levinson's politeness theory. So, Brown and Levinson developed a theory of politeness that drew on government ideas phase and of politeness. According to Brown and Levinson, there are two kinds of face, which reflect two different desires present in every interaction. Positive face is needs to be connected, and negative face is the need to be independent, free. Positive face is need to be accepted member of the same group, and to know that his or her wants are shared by others. Positive face need to be connected and a member of the group. For the example, let's do it together. And for the other example, you and I have the same problems. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. For the next is about negative face. So here negative face is desire to express one's ideas without resistance. Negative face, the need to be independent, to have freedom of action and not to be imposed on by others. Negative face need to be independent, free. Negative face refers to the want of every competent adult member that his action be unimpeded by others. For example, I'm sorry to bother you. And for the other sample is, I know you are busy. And for the other example, like, you think I better take him because I want him to like me and I want the reputation of being a reliable person. In that case, we can say that negative face is the need to be independent and positive face is the need to be connected. I think that's all for me. And for the next explanation, I give it back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Misha, for your explanation. And the next speaker is Muhammad Senal. Time is yours.
All right, thanks to moderator that has been giving opportunity to me. And my material is about the politeness theory in 2011, outlined as Apollo, Brown and Levinson that propose uh, the strategy about the interlocutors can use to deal with the past treatment acts. And the first one is about on-record politeness. This strategy is used to in situations where people know each other well or not situation of urgency. And in this instance, in maintaining space is not the first priority or main goal of the conversation. A person may shout watch out if they say someone is dangerous. This strategy does not try to proper space but can be used to treatment if taken out of context. For example, emergency, help, and thanks orientation for giving those request put your jacket away. And the Brown and Levinson outline various cases which one might use the bulk on recur including is just like intense in which treatment medicine does not occur and B great urgency of discipline just like watch out and speaking as of great efficiency and necessary is hear me out text orientation pass the hammer and later or not desire the maintenance software phase don't forget to clean the blinds doing the fine treatment at the interaction the hearer you're hitting around and next is tension as which the threat and minimize inflation just like welcome just like command it offers the levy and the cleanup and just like continue to it and the next is off record this strategy is more indirect despite the speaker does not impose on the hearer as the result first is not directly the threatened. The strategy often requires the hearer and the interpreter what the speaker is saying. Of the record indirect strategy is take make some pressure off. You are trying to avoid the direct FTA or First Treatment Act of asking for the bill. And as the result, first is not directly threatened, you will rather it of offer to you once you hear it as the you want. And for example, this is just like giving it is like bit cold in here. And be figure, perhaps someone should be open the window, be sarcastic or joking. Yeah, it's really hot here. I think just enough material for me. I'll give it back to moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Enel, for your explanation. And the next speaker is Nurul Makfira Aziz. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much this opportunity. I will explain about positive politeness and negative politeness. First, positive politeness. This strategy tries to minimize the threat to the audience's positive face. And I'll, yeah, thank you. This can be done by attending to the audience's needs, invoking equality and feelings of belonging to the group, hedging or indirectness, avoiding disagreement, using humor and optimism, and making offers and promises. The positive politeness strategy shows you recognize that your hearer has a face to be respected. It also confirms that the relationship is friendly and expresses a group reciprocity. The example, you guys can the slide, attend to the hearer. You must be hungry. It is a long time since breakfast. How about some lunch? The second example, um, Apa ini? Salah deh. Salah deh. Itu nih. And another example about avoid disagreement. A, what is C? Small? Yes, yes, C is small. Small is not really small, but certainly not very big. Okay, next slide, please. Enal. Next slide. Mana Enal? Nah, okay, the next is negative politeness. This strategy tries to minimize threats to the audience's negative phase. An example of when negative politeness would be used is when the speaker requires something from the audience, but wants to maintain the audience's right to refuse. This can be done by being indirect, using hedges or questions, minimizing imposition and apologizing. The negative politeness strategy recognizes the hearer's face, but it also admits that you are in some way imposing on him or her. Example, I don't want to bother you, but would it be possible for me to have a beer? And another example, uh, use heads or questions. Perhaps he might have taken it. Maybe could you please pass the rice? Uh, okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Nurul Makfira Aziz, for your explanation. And the last speaker is Rizka Dwi Putri Asad. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for our moderator who have given me a chance to explain about Robin-Lakoff theory. Okay, I will explain it. Robin-Lakoff was one of the linguists to study politeness and give birth to the notion that politeness is an important aspect of interaction that needs to be studied. Lakoff proposed that there are two rules of politeness which aim at minimizing conflict in an interaction. And the first is be clear. Be clear itu terbagi atas 4. And the first is maximum of quantity. It requires the speaker to provide information that is required by the hearer. The information should not be too much or too little then that is required. The possibility that may occur if the speaker gives too little information is that the hearer is unsatisfied by the information provided. Kemudian maximum of quality. It requires the speaker to tell the truth because a lying or untruthful statement will disrupt communication and to a misunderstanding. And the third is maximum of it requires the speaker to provide an answer relevant to the topic of conversation. And the last is maximum of manner. It requires the speaker to speak orderly in order to avoid ambiguity and confusion. Next slide, please. Yang kedua itu be polite. Be polite itu terbagi atas 3. Yang pertama itu don't impose. This rule looks at our distance and formality. We must look at how close we are with the person we are talking to. This may be in terms of our age, social status, occupation, family relation, or many other things. If there is a large disparity in the distance, then this rule is applied. We shall not ask about their personal affairs. And the second is give option. in this maxim, lack of stress the point that the speaker should not take complete control the conversation. The speaker gives the addressee options to express uncertainty over the conversation. Lakov says that the speaker knows what he wants, but thinks it is important to let the addressee choose for themselves. And the last is make your receiver feel good. This maxim is concerned with the mutual trust and friendship between the speaker and the listener. It is important to make the interlocutor feel appreciated for who they are and that conversation is balanced. Okay, I think that's enough. I give it back to our moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Ariska, for the last speakers. And I think that's enough for our group explanation about politeness and interaction. And now we will open the Q&A section. But before that, we will accept 3 questions first. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Bagaimana teman-teman? Ada yang ingin bertanya? Hello guys, do you have any question for my group? Kalau tidak ada yang bertanya, mungkin kita bisa tutup ya guys di jam 9:10.
Saya mau bertanya.
Oke, atas nama siapa?
Anggun. Anggun.
Oh, Anggun. Oke, silakan Anggun.
So my question is how the listener now, the speaker mengatakan politeness agreement. I mean like apakah ada aturan tertentu yang harus dikatakan si speaker supaya si listener ini paham kalau si speaker ini tidak setuju dengan ataupun tidak setuju dengan pendapat si speaker seperti. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you, Anggun, for your question. Anyone else? Baik, kalau tidak ada, Anggun, kita kasihkan dulu waktunya untuk jawab AT-nya.
Ya.
Okay, thank you so much, Tia, for your question from Group 1. Okay, thank you. Baik, untuk pertanyaan dari Saudari Anggun dan AT Inaya, berikan waktu berapa menit untuk mendiskusikan. Oke, baik. Untuk pertanyaan dari saudari Anggun akan dijawab oleh saya sendiri, yaitu pertanyaannya, bagaimana si listener tahu kalau si speaker itu setuju atau tidak dengan ungkapannya? Apakah ada ungkapan tertentu yang menjadi tanda bahwa si speaker itu paham atau setuju tidaknya dengan lawan bicara? For example kan saya sudah tadi saya sudah kasih contoh kalimat seperti Baby bilang, for example untuk utteransinya itu true but, dan saya ingin kasih beberapa contoh lagi seperti I disagree, maybe, yes but, you have a point but. For example, untuk kamu lebih mengerti lagi, for example, ada mengatakan, I don't want my daughter to do this. I want her to do that. Dan si baby menjawab, yes, but maaf, I thought we resolved this already on your last visit. Okay, I think that's enough. How about Anggun?
Ya baik, terima kasih untuk tambahan contohnya. Saya kira saya sudah paham. Assalamualaikum.
Oke, terima kasih. Waalaikumsalam. Oke, untuk pertanyaan dari saudari Atia Inaya akan dijawab oleh saudari Mesya. Mesya, time is yours.
Well, thank you, Adam, and for Naya questions about what? Naya question about our group opinion about how politeness applied in our class so far. So, as you know, in our class there is a lot of conversation, and for example, for politeness, positive politeness by Brown's and Levinson's theory, when someone or our friends say like, I'm sorry, I bother you. Can I borrow your pen or can I borrow your book? This is one of the example of apply the negative phase theory in our class. And for the positive phase theory, according to Brown, like when we say to our friend like your presentation is good, but it could be better if you have more confidence to speak better. So I think that's all. I give back to moderator.
Oke, bagaimana dengan saudara Atia?
Okay, thank you so much for your answer, Misha and the group.
Oke, thank you Atia. Bagaimana dengan teman-teman? Masih ada pertanyaan sebelum jam 9:10 kita akan tutup presentasi hari ini. Oke, karena sudah tidak ada lagi pertanyaan, I think thank you so much for your participation, guys, for today, and don't forget to say Hamdalah, Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. We are from Group 6. Thank you so much for your participation today. Thank you.